Fox News alert right now, President Trump off to the NATO summit in the Netherlands after calling out Iran and Israel over a broken ceasefire deal.
I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong.
All right, moments ago, the president also adding this quote: Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Our next guest says the president knows ultimately there cannot be peace with a terror regime. Retired Brigadier General Amir Avi has led thousands of IDF combat soldiers, and he joins us right now. Did Prime Minister Netanyahu do the right thing in not retaliating for the violation that Iran did to the ceasefire?
First, I want to say thank you to President Trump for really saving the world from a nuclear disaster. I think that the attack the U.S. conducted on the nuclear sites, it wasn't the beginning of a war. It's bringing an end to the war. And the fact that we are able to talk about a ceasefire after 12 days, a 12-day war and not years of war, is due to the decisiveness of the attack of the U.S. and the bold decision of the president. Right. And this is not just going to impact the Middle East. This is going to build deterrence globally, also looking at China and then Russia. It's a very big deal, and all Israelis are very, very happy and thankful that we're able to end this war shortly in 12 days and move back to really focus on Gaza and our hostages.
So, General, the president's move, bold move, is historic, and I think it was a fantastic decision. But the way Israel has fought in an impossible situation and to great success is something they're going to write about for generations. The question, if Iran's regime survives, do you believe their intentions have changed, and are you just postponing another confrontation by signing on to a ceasefire now?
As long as this regime exists, they will always aspire to destroy Israel and the U.S., and therefore, after doing this ceasefire, it's very important really to work out how do we make sure that this regime doesn't go back to fund proxies, doesn't go back to produce nuclear weapons, and doesn't go back to produce ballistic missiles. All three things cannot happen, and we need to be able to impose the reality where they don't go back to fund terror and build these capabilities, just as we're doing with Hezbollah. We did a ceasefire with Hezbollah, but Israel is imposing this ceasefire. It's enforcing it, making sure that they are not rebuilding themselves again, and we need to reinforce this ceasefire in the long term together. U.S. and Israel, we need to build the mechanism that will enable to enforce it.
How close is Lebanon to getting control of their country? How close is the Gaza region being controlled by Palestinians, not Hamas? How close are both those outcomes?
I think that this big win in Iran is bringing us much closer to really bring a collapse of this whole Shia axis. It's obvious that this is going to impact a lot Hezbollah, which is already on its knees. And it gives a huge chance to the government of Lebanon to get control of their country completely and move all the way to joining an alliance, a Western Israeli moderate Sunni alliance, because this win, this war, will bring peace agreements in the Middle East, just as President Trump predicted and pushing. And the same with Gaza. It will shorten the war in Gaza. Hamas is completely alone. They lost their backup. And this is what it is.
General, thanks so much. The Prime Minister and President have one thing in common. They're willing to fight for peace. And I think that's the right message in the area.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.